are still a kid or already a grown-up, there is probably a cartoon or anime that you just can't stop watching. Unfortunately, you might not have the chance to know about some of the best TV shows in the world because your country banned them. And we're here to tell you about them anyway. Just wait until you see why Pokemon was banned around the world after sending 600 kids to the hospital. If you love cartoons as much as we do, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a big thumbs up. Today we're showing you 10 cartoons banned in other countries. Winnie the Pooh. Just when you thought that nothing could go wrong with this sweet character, China banned the bear on the internet for a ridiculous reason. It's been several years since the internet users started comparing the cartoon character to the Chinese president, Xi Jinping. You can see the pictures of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger walking together being compared to the picture of Jinping and former President Barack Obama. You can also see the president shaking hands with Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo. And it's once again compared to Winnie and his friend Eeyore. And these are not the only pictures, as internet users keep having fun with this running gag. But it seems like it went too far, as it became the most censored image in China in 2015. We don't understand why Xi Jinping would take it so personally. Winnie the Pooh is a character that everyone loves, and it shouldn't be a bad thing to be associated with him. However, cyber officials claim that they didn't like to see their president being compared to a slow-witted and naive bear. That is why if anyone in China tried to find a picture of the comparison, they would not be able to find the result. If internet users tried to talk about Winnie the Pooh in any comments, a message would pop up and tell them that it was against Chinese laws. We hope that Xi Jinping will learn to laugh at the joke because we would love to see him smile like the cartoon character. The Loud House. This cartoon is now the most popular show on Nickelodeon, becoming a #1 children's animated series on television within its first month on the air. Unfortunately, in Kenya, it will never have the chance to become popular because the cartoon has been banned. The reason for this is that it's the first time we got the chance to see queer characters, including a gay married couple on a Nickelodeon cartoon. They were not the only two men in love. There were also Clyde's parents and an interracial couple. Lincoln was right to say that it was time to make history right before opening the door. It was finally time that we saw some diversity in kids' cartoons. Unfortunately, some countries weren't ready for that, and they received many complaints from viewers. Kenya's Film and Classification Board suspended many children's programs, accusing them of featuring disturbing content glorifying homosexual behavior. They said that adults can choose to be homosexuals and exercise their rights on sexual orientation and relationships, but not so with children. We hope that they will change their minds, not only because The Loud House is a great cartoon, but also so children can grow up knowing that it's okay to be different. Peppa Pig. If you have a kid or a little sister at home, you probably have already watched Peppa Pig. And don't be shy if you watched it on your own, even if you are a grown-up. We all love kids shows sometimes, and they teach us good life lessons. Unfortunately, one of the episodes was inappropriate for Australian viewers. This is why the country had to ban it. But what did Peppa do this time? In the 5-minute episode called Spider's Web, the family met a new character, a spider named Mr. Skinny Legs. They took the time to get to know him and learn that they shouldn't be scared of spiders and that they should avoid disturbing his web. If you can't still figure out what's wrong with this cartoon, you probably don't know that many spiders are really dangerous in Australia. Some of the world's most venomous spiders live in the country. This is why Australian children should never believe that spiders can be their friends, and there are a lot of reasons why they should be scared of them. When ABC heard about this, they immediately apologized for running it and said that they had been restricted from being aired on the ABC's television networks. So don't worry, there are still more episodes of Peppa Pig that you can watch in Australia. South Park. It's absolutely not a surprise to hear that South Park was banned in many countries. It is probably one of the most controversial cartoons in the world, and we think that you shouldn't be watching it unless you're a grown-up who has a critical mind. Many people think that the show went on a little too far, and some of the most shocking episodes were 200 and 201. For the 200th episode of South Park, the creators decided to push the limits by depicting the Prophet Muhammad. It set off controversy across the globe as it was obviously an offense to Muslims. Even those who don't have religious beliefs were shocked to hear the cartoon would dare to do that. The show had been running in India for less than a year and it was abruptly taken off the air. Indian viewers didn't even have time to see the 200th episode and it was already too much for them. Russia also tried to ban the cartoon to replace it with programs teaching children to be patriotic. If you think that these countries are too close-minded, you'll be surprised to hear that the US has a ban on part of the show too. Comedy Central censored Muhammad by placing black bars over the characters and cutting out his lines. The show was then pulled out from the air and it was not possible to see the episode on the website or in repeats. Sailor Moon. We love to see powerful female characters become heroes in one of our favorite anime. However, viewers around the world were not shocked by the fights, but by the love between some of the characters. In the original anime, Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus were two women who fell in love with each other. Even though Japanese viewers had the chance to see the two characters dating, their relationship was banned in many countries, including America. As they couldn't just get rid of these two characters, they had to rewrite a new story instead. In the United States, they transformed Neptune and Uranus into cousins. It is strange to think that family members flirting with each other was more appropriate for Americans than two women in love. They were not the only characters who had to pretend that love is only between a man and a woman. Zoizi was changed into a woman to explain why he was dating another male villain in the first season. There was also a whole season that Americans did not get a chance to see because it featured characters who changed gender when they transformed. So this time, Japanese viewers were the ones who thought that America was the other country that banned homosexuality in their anime. The Simpsons. It's no surprise that our favorite Homer Simpson did something shocking once again, but for what reason could he be banned from a country? Well, I'll have to tell you why most of the characters are yellow. Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, simply loved the idea that whenever someone was flipping through channels, they would automatically know that they're watching their favorite cartoon, as many of them saw the yellow bodies. This is probably one of the reasons it's the longest running American sitcom after more than 600 episodes. The cartoon is still really popular, but not in Myanmar. This country in Asia, the movie was banned because of political reasons. But this was not for the reasons that you might think, as the story or the topics had nothing to do with that. The juxtaposition was the colors red and yellow were not allowed in the film at the time because these colors were used in support of rebel groups within the nation. As Lisa and Bart could have yellow skin and wear clothes that could look orange or red, Myanmar saw the movie as a threat. We know that it was not the intention of the American creators, but the country was a little more superstitious at that time. Unfortunately, people in the country didn't have the chance to get to see the famous Spider Pig song stuck in their heads. Steven Universe. We all love this unique cartoon, so we all feel bad that we learned that it was banned in a country and that kids won't be watching it. Steven Universe is another victim of the ban of Kenya, after the country claimed that some cartoons were glorifying homosexual behavior. Ezekiel Mutua, the chief executive officer of the regulator, said that his institution received complaints about the shows. He even thought that those who did not complain were just aware of the progressive and bizarre messages intended to promote gay agenda. Steven Universe has been known for being one of the greatest queer shows on TV. Unfortunately, some countries, including the United States and the UK, thought it was not appropriate for young children. This is why the show has been marked with a PG rating, and some scenes were edited. People were so shocked to see Ruby kissing Sapphire that people started a petition online. They asked Cartoon Network to censor previous episodes and exclude LGBT themes in future episodes. But then fans started to get another petition asking Cartoon Network to stop censoring queer content in Steven Universe. Almost 10,000 people signed for diversity, while fewer than 200 still thought that the cartoon was not appropriate for kids. If a male and a female can do it, why can't we see two female characters in love on TV? Family Guy. We know that this family is really controversial, but we do want to know what they did to deserve to be banned from a country. It's not surprising that some people thought that Family Guy was inappropriate, but it is shocking to know that it was banned in Russia, Malaysia, India, Venezuela, South Korea, South Africa, the Philippines, Taiwan, Egypt, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Iran. And let's not forget at least a dozen episodes that have been banned all around the world, including the United States. Not a lot of the cartoons say that they are one of the most controversial animated series in the world. And if you think that these countries are closed-minded, don't forget that the United States didn't always appreciate the show either. Fox decided not to air an episode of Family Guy because it included too many sensitive topics. This is when creator of the show, Seth MacFarlane, decided to speak out about censorship. He said that people in America are becoming less intelligent. They're getting less and less able to analyze something and think critically and pick apart the underlying elements, and more ready to make a snap judgment regarding something at face value, which is too bad. But should we really have the right to watch anything on TV? MacFarlane probably didn't think about kids watching the show. Pokemon. This anime wanted to be the very best like no other animated series ever was. Unfortunately, it failed in the worst way. In December 1997, when Japanese kids sat down to watch an episode of their favorite anime, almost 700 never saw the end of Electric Soldier Porygon. More than 600 children had to go to the hospital after they were watching the show, and more than 100 of them are still hospitalized the day after. But what happened? Many of them experienced seizures when Pikachu used his lightning power to blow up some missiles. Some of them also passed out, experienced blurred vision, or felt nauseous. About 1 in 4,000 people can suffer from photosensitive seizures. With 4 million people watching the show in Japan, we understand why they would be affected. To create a special effect in the virtual world, the animators used a rapidly strobing technique that flashed red and blue lights on the screen. Unfortunately, it was too late when they realized their mistake. The episode was banned from airing again, even in edited form, all around the world. But Japan went further than that. The show was taken off the air for 4 months, and Nintendo was negatively affected. But what? The show is so good we forgive them now. And the problem is solved. SpongeBob SquarePants. Our favorite cartoon character might live in a pineapple under the sea, but he doesn't live anywhere near Ukraine or China. China had a good reason to ban the animated series. In 2006, the country decided to prevent foreign cartoons from being screened during the golden hours from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is because they wanted kids to get the chance to watch animated series created by Chinese artists and encourage their own cartoon industry. We're not against the ban and actually think it could be a good idea, but the reason why a Ukrainian group wanted to ban the cartoon was much more ridiculous. Once again, they thought that SpongeBob SquarePants promoted homosexuality. They thought that the show was part of a master plan, a large-scale experiment on Ukrainian children to create criminals. If you don't know what they're talking about, you're not the only one. We think that it has something to do with the fact that SpongeBob is popular with the gay community. However, the creator said that the character was asexual, so people clearly loved his personality. Do you think that we should be allowed to watch anything on television? Or do you think we still need censorship? Don't be shy to tell us what you think in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear your opinion. And that's it for 10 cartoons banned in other countries. For more stories like this, make sure you watch 10 Strange Reasons Why Disney Movies Were Banned. Thanks for watching!